Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. It is the last day of 2025. So let's talk about some goals for 2026 and recap my 2025. This year was a pretty good year for me writing. I had a very productive year, although some things did not work out the way I thought they would. So if you're new here, hi, my name's Christina, and I am a genre bending literary writer. And my channel is all about writing, publishing, creativity, and inspiration. So if you like those types of things, hit the subscribe button and we'll talk about all those things. And let's talk first about the big goal. So in 2025, my goal was to get a publishable version of my book, and that did not happen. However, I did finish my second revision. Yay! I finished it on December 28th, this past Sunday. So my book is revised. It is revised. And I knew it was going to be a big undertaking. I knew it was going to be a big revision. And honestly, when I was working full time, I have a full time job, but I'm on vacation right now. So when I was working my full time job, it was hard for me to stick to some of the revisions because they needed so much brain attention. They needed so much bandwidth, is what I was trying to say. And I just couldn't do that for like an hour or two after work. It just wasn't going to work for me. So it was really like the weekends where I had to work on it. And now that I have this full week off between Christmas Eve and basically New Year's Day is what I have off, I could spend 3 or 4 hours like just slogging away, getting this second revision to the point where I want it to be. And I'm pretty happy with it. It did undergo some drastic changes, but where it is right now is something that I am really, really happy with. Like, wow. It took a lot of work, but we're there. The one thing, however, though, is that I don't think I added that many words. I did write a lot of new material, and I definitely think it's longer than it was before. My book before was about 30,000 words, and I hope, and I'm reasonably sure that it is over 40,000 words. So we're gonna just go with it. I'm just really not worried about word count anymore. I'm really more worried about like the substance of it. Does it make sense? Is the language good? Is the plot good? Is the characters good? All that. And we'll get into like what's going to happen in 2026 with this. But for now, second revision is done, and I'm pretty happy with that. The other goal that I had for 2025 was to revise two short stories that I had written, and I wanted to revise them and send them out into the world. And that happened back in June. I revised both of those short stories, and they are currently out in submission. I have 9 simultaneous submissions out for the various stories, plus one essay that I wrote. And the rejections are coming slowly but surely. Hopefully, I will get some good news, in 2026. But I can't really control that. All I can do is just keep submitting and hope that someone, wants to publish me. And that's kind of where the bummer comes, a little bit of the disappointment. After having 2 stories accepted in 2024, I was kind of hoping to get 1 in 2025. But no, that didn't happen. And not for lack of trying, though. It's just, it wasn't my year this year. And that's okay. 2026, I'm just going to keep submitting, keep being aggressive about it, and work on my book, my other book. So, along with revising those 2 short stories, I actually wrote 2 more short stories and an essay, and I am currently in the middle of another short story, which I'm hoping to finish either today or tomorrow or New Year's Day, because I'm too old to be partying in these streets. I'm not going out in these streets New Year's Eve. It is cold here in the DMC. I mean, the DMV. I think it is in the 20s right now and the wind is blowing. It is very cold. So your girl will be at home, snuggled up with some cocoa, writing her short stories. Plus, I have to go to work on Friday, even though I'm working from home. So yeah, I'm not really feeling the partying. I'd rather stay home and be grateful that this year has ended and that I survived it. Because it's been tough. It's been tough here in the U.S. financially and emotionally, and I think we're all just kind of happy to see this year end. To be honest with you, but anyways, that's kind of dark. So let's keep it a little light here. uh, I finished a bunch of fiction this year and one personal essay, which I have not written personal essays in a very long time, but I wanted to submit something to this journal. So I did it. And I'm really glad I did. I probably will want to write a few more in 2026, but right now that's way in the back. That's just kind of maybe one day. But right now we are focused on the fiction. Okay. The other things that I did this year as a goal, let's see, um, 2 videos a month and my 2 posts on social media this month. For the most part, I stuck with it. Um, but to be honest with you, there were some months where I kind of slacked and just did one, or I skipped it altogether because I kind of forgot or things got busy. That's kind of how it goes with me. As my fiction writing increases, my presence on the internet goes down. And I think it's correlating because I just am not interested in posting. I'm more interested in creating. And I've been enjoying YouTube a lot. But taking time out of my day to do these kinds of videos sometimes is something that is just not a priority. And then I'll look up and it's been 3 weeks since I've posted. So I definitely don't want to stop, but I also am not going to beat myself up too much if I only have one post for the month. Um, YouTube specifically, I would love to get to a once a week posting, like Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is what I think I really like. Like, I feel like that's a good time for me to post. But I have to plan for it. That's the thing I'm learning now with social media is you have to plan out what you're going to post and when you're going to write it. I can't just wing it. So I want to be more consistent. That's the goal, is to be consistent. Um, but I'm also not sure if I can keep up the pace every single month. There's probably going to be some months where I'm posting a whole lot and other times when I'm not posting so much, for various reasons, travel or, just not feeling well. Like I got really sick in October and that kind of took me out for a while. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. But I do want to be more consistent with posting. And, you know, I'd like to get up to like 100 subscribers too. And I'm not going to get that by forgetting to post. I actually have to like put stuff out. So I have a few ideas for some videos coming soon. Um, and hopefully that will help me be more consistent. So that's pretty much it for my goals for 2025. 2026, the main goal is going to be getting this book done. My plan right now is that for probably the first week, 3 weeks of January, I'm going to be working on short stories. And then probably around the end of January, I'm going to start doing the third revision. And that's going to be the one that when I'm finished with it, I will be sending that to my critique group and probably for our March meeting. Only because February is a short month and I don't even know if we're going to meet in February. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But March, I'd rather just put it off till March. Also, I'm going to be traveling in February, so I might not have as much time to revise draft 3 as I would like. So I would like to kind of like stretch it out till March. I think that's realistic, and I think that I can do that, especially since now the big heavy lifting is done. So I'll be using draft 3 for inconsistencies and spelling mistakes if I have any, grammar mistakes if I have any, continuity issues, and just kind of going through making sure that basically the book has all the details that I want it to have, and there's no repetition. I did find that in the second book, there were a couple of repetitious parts that I had to kind of cut out and uh, either fold them into other chapters or just get rid of them altogether because they weren't needed. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, especially with other people. I said this before, but this book has been on my mind since July 2023. Yeah. And I started writing it in December of 2023. So right now it's going on like 2.5 years. And I eventually want this book to be published. So it'll be 3 or at least 4 years maybe by the time I get a literary agent or it gets published, whatever it happens to be. So this is a long time coming, and 2.5 years to finally get other people to read it is, I think, a long time. But this is the draft I want people to read. You know what I mean? I didn't want people to read the first draft. It was a mess. And the second draft is way better. But I also want to, just do one more look. So before I'm ready to show it to people. So that's one big, big goal. Second goal, last year I said at my goals 2025 that I wanted to do a short story collection. And y'all, I still want to do that. I still want to do a short story collection, and I think that I'm ready. Back in October, I had a moment at work where our system was down, and so we all had to kind of, wait around for the system to, fix itself, or the IT guys to fix it. And I wrote down every short story that I had that I wanted to be in a collection, and I came up with 16 titles. 16 titles, that's a lot. And my average short story is between 2 and 3,000 words. So that's a lot. That's like 30,000 words or so. And I feel like I have a collection. I do. And I want it to go out in the world. However, in November, I realized that I would like to try and get it traditionally published. Now, if you're new to publishing, you may have heard that like short story collections are not, the big five are not interested in them. And that is true. Unless you're already famous, it is hard to get a short story collection published, particularly since a lot of literary agents don't want short story collections. But small presses and medium-sized presses are interested in short story collections. And I've been doing some preliminary research and looking at various small presses that might be interested in publishing me. Now, I am a long way from getting a deal and submitting and all that, but that is what my January project is going to be. When I said I was working on my short stories, it's not just writing and revising. I'm going to do my due diligence, put together basically a dream list of university presses I'm expecting to have between 10 and 20. I already just went through Poets and Writers magazine. For those of you who don't know, Poets and Writers magazine has an online database, and you can search that for publishers. So I did that, I don't know, one day this past week when I was bored, and I was like, you know what, let's look at some publishers. And I came up with a huge list, like at least 15. And so I'm going to go through them one by one. One, see if they're even open, and two, if they're, publishing the kind of work that I write. And, hopefully this year I will have some progress on that. And look, if I can't find anybody who's interested, I get rejected tons and tons. I can always self-publish it like I've done before. But this time, I'd like to have someone else publish it. Not because I don't like self-publishing. It's fine. I don't mind it. But I also, this year, I have utilized my library a lot, and I want to be in libraries. I want to be eligible for um, prizes and awards. And also, just to be blunt, um, I want to have somebody else do some of the work. I really do. I'm a fairly independent person, but I feel like a professional that can like show me how traditional publishing works in a little ways is is probably an experience I have yet to have, and even with my short stories. And so I want to try. So I'm going to. Da, 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 da. And we'll see where I end up. But that is definitely the other big goal this year. It's finish the book and get a publishable or at least submittable version of it, and do the short story collection and see if I can get that published also. The other goals are really just keeping up social media. Like I said, I'd like to get to one video a week here on YouTube and grow my audience even more. I love y'all, all 20 of you, but I would like to get to 100 or more. I also want to just be more consistent on my blog and Substack, even if I have to go to like one post a month. If I can be consistent on that, I would be happy with that. And then finally, and I'm going to do a separate video completely on this, but I have a reading challenge that I'm going to do in 2026. Now, 2025, I read 15 books, and I am very happy with that. I think I've said before, but 2024, I think I read 4 books, and it was fine. I wish I had read more, but I made an effort this year to really read more. And you know what? I will also say it does help to go into the office 2 days a week, because I'm not distracted by television or YouTube or any of that stuff. I could just take my book and go read on my lunch break. And that's how I read 15 books this year. And so 2026, I definitely want to keep up the reading, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I have a reading challenge that I'm going to unveil in the next video. So I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's going to be, similar to, well, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anybody doing this reading challenge, but I'm going to do it. And that'll be my big reads for this year. So it's not a ton of goals, but they are very big ones and very time consuming ones. Of course, I will probably write a couple new short stories, or at least start them. I also will probably revisit another novella that I have. But all of that is going to happen way down the line. Like if I turn around in November, I don't have anything to work on. I have plenty of other stuff to work on. I also have an idea for my next book too. So I have plenty of new stuff that I can write. But really the priority this year is my book and my short story collection. That's what's going to take precedence. That is what I'm going to be like working diligently on, and hopefully it will pay off. So thank you so much for watching. What were your goals for 2026? And did you hit some goals for 2025? I hope you did. I know this year has been kind of crappy for a lot of us, financially and politically. But, I've been trying to make my little corner of the world better. And writing has really helped me kind of power through getting through, all the bad news that's been coming right and left, it seems like. So, yeah, I hope that your 2026 is awesome. Everybody stay safe this New Year's Eve, and I will see you all on the next, oh, I guess I should say, if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next video in 2026. Bye.